Hey, what's up, guys? This is King Vox, and today we're going to be talking about Guild Wars, obviously. But what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about the whole idea of progression and class and balance and stuff like that. Okay, so most people that play MMORPGs are mostly PC gamers. PC gamers are known for being all kind of hardcore. Main reason is because we actually sit up to a desk, most of us, and we play games like MMORPGs, which were almost exclusive to PC during the early 2000s and the late 90s. So, what does this really mean? What am I getting at? I'm getting at the whole idea of an MMORPG and what made that great. All right, let's talk about what we expect out of an MMORPG. We expect MMORPGs to be not necessarily hardcore, but definitely not suited or pushed out for softcore or casual players. Now, you have this whole notion of casual players, these console players. I'm gonna call them console players, and I don't listen. Don't if you're a console player, don't take any offense to this. What I basically mean is you guys have very little concept of an MMORPG because they just weren't available to consoles until recently. And even to this day, there's not really a good MMORPG on a console. So if you've never played MMORPGs on PC like some of us have for the past 30 years, right? How can you understand the concept of these games? And a lot of times when I see complaints on the forums and stuff like that, it's these complaints that literally look like they came from someone that's never been off of a game like Call of Duty or Rainbow Six. The people that play shooters in console games, they play games for about 2-3 months and then they move on to the next situation. The whole idea of an MMORPG and players that want to play MMORPGs are people that know that they want to build this character for the next 5 to 10 years. And I'm not joking. Like we are geeks about this. Okay? And there's been where do we kind of draw the line between what we love and the difference of what console players kind of love? You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to bash console players, but I feel that majority of casuals are people that are new to gaming, or they're either console gamers if they're not new to gaming and they don't understand these things. I remember having this conversation with some guy about the PvP and Guild Wars, and he was like, well, I can just play League of Legends for PvP. And it just, like, right there, I just kind of like got triggered. Like, did not even the same genre of game. Like, what are you talking about? And those are the type of things you deal with. But I want to talk about the lack of progression in Guild Wars. And when I say the lack of progression, I mainly mean the gear treadmill. Okay, this thing that's been looked at and demonized and the Guild Wars community as being a bad thing. I don't mean to kind of get at whoever like thought that up, but I feel like that's the wrong idea for MMORPG. We play these games so our character can grow in strength. Since when is power creep bad? Power creep it makes games fun. Every offline game that I've ever played, every offline MMORPG, I mean, not offline MMORPG, but every offline RPG I've played ever since a kid, the best part about playing these games were getting stronger. You would get strong to the point where you can go back and just beat the brakes off of like old content and stuff like that. And that's what made, games fun for me as a RPG player, as an MMORPG player. Now the cool thing is Guild Wars has impeccable story, absolutely top story game in the game. In the when I say in the game, I mean in the gaming industry right now. As far as MMORPGs, there is not another game out there that delivers this type of story. I would say the next in line would be Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls has some okay story or whatever, but Guild Wars, they're doing a really great job. The personal story, the living events, the live events, and all that stuff, it's all great. Good job, keep doing it. But I gotta say, I need the gear progression. Without that, like, I feel like I hit a wall. I can do the main story in one day. I can do the living world stuff in one day. So what's left for me is things like PvP. Okay, PvP is fun, but not with the lack of some type of grind or achievement. Like, what am I grinding for? Why am I doing, and not only PvP, but like raids? We have raids, and raids are in-game as well, but what certifies in-game if you don't grow stronger from it? There's nothing for me doing a raid that's going to help me grow stronger. Now, running a raid will give somebody that does world versus world maybe a small advantage, because if they get legendary gear, they can switch their stats at the fly, on the fly, and become everything. Or I can just invest into more ascended sets, which are the same stats as legendary, and literally do the same thing. And most people don't switch builds that frequently. So here's my problem: I don't have gear progression, and I don't have, I mean, without gear progression, what other progression really is there? What motivation is there? And you can't tell me cosmetics. Okay, I'm really done with that. I'm really done with the whole idea of cosmetics. I don't mind cosmetics being in shop. I love outfits. Don't get me wrong, I will buy them all day. But one thing I don't want to do is play in game for cosmetics as well. I don't know about some of you guys or whatever out there, but a new looking skin for my armor doesn't do anything for me. A legendary weapon are the only exceptions of legendaries that I actually care about, and they're time gated. And there's nothing, I guess there's nothing wrong with time gated, because what time gated does for those is it increases, you know, the hype behind the legendary. So when you actually see one, you're like, holy crap, that's cool. Or when you have one, it actually feels like you've accomplished something. But as far as like raiding for legendary gear or more ascended pieces, there's just no initiative for me to ever want to raid. Like, coming from any other MMORPG, the whole idea of it is just completely different. And it was okay in Guild Wars 1 because there was so much more build diversity. There was so many more skills on a character that you could spend a whole year and still not see every combination of class, I felt. And in Guild Wars 1 is still pushing to this day and doing well. But let's think about this whole concept of an MMORPG. All right, so what's keeping us playing Guild Wars 2? Okay, the game's been out for, I think, going on like 4 years now, and there's only been one new class released. Now, to their defense, to not be biased or whatever about, you know, my whole argument, or I guess stay one-sided about it, they do have this system of subclasses, and although subclasses are great, there's nothing better than a completely new class. A new class, classes are a new avenue to explore old content, if you will. I feel sometimes that classes are more impactful than even a new expansion, to the point where I will literally come back to your game and play another 100 hours of the same content if I'm playing it on a new class, you know, but I will only spend 20 hours in a new expansion that doesn't have any gear progression. I feel that gear progression is something that MMORPGs need. I'm not afraid of power creep. I don't demonize power creep whatsoever. I feel that the whole idea of growing a character and making a character stronger over time is ideal. I feel that that's a completely practical thing to hope for in an MMORPG. So when I think of Guild Wars, that's what I think of. When people ask me to play Guild Wars, sometimes I'm just wondering, like, why sometimes. And although it's fun to play with friends and stuff like that, whatever, but once you get to the point where I am, when you've explored just about every class, or all your, you know, what can I say, my desires to play most of the classes or the specs, or once those are all fulfilled, it's kind of like, okay, well, what do I do now? I find myself often logging on to this game and just wondering, why is there new living world stories and stuff like that, but there's nothing else to really gain for it. Right now I feel like everything we're doing is just purely for cosmetics, and I'm done looking cool. I want to be stronger. I want to be stronger. And that's the end of this video. And I really don't know what else to say. I love the game, and sometimes when you love something, you're very aggressive with it. You know what I mean? You can be very opinionated and stuff like that, but you only do that to things you care about, you know? So that's just what it is. Peace out, guys. Comment what you feel down below. This has been King Vox, and I'm out.